My classmates used to say that I used to sound like a goat.
Sounds like a goat.
Yeah, like a goat, yeah. Because my vibrato was so pronounced, you know, so quick, you know? I have a quick vibrato. That has also become my signature as a singer. And I remember coming back home really disappointed and sad because my classmates, my girlfriends, they didn't think that I was a great singer. They didn't like my voice. So I used to complain to my dad and mom. My dad was so adamant. He said to me, Shakira, don't ever let him tell you that your vibrato is not worth it, because that's the most important thing a singer has. A singer must have a vibrato. If not, it's not good. The voice is not good, and there's no quality to the voice if it doesn't have vibrato. It could have been really easy for me to give up and let the criticism get to me, but I guess it just did the opposite effect and made me want to demonstrate that I was worth listening to.
Picture this. A record executive looks at a young girl and says, "Your voice is too weird, your hips move too much, and you'll never make it in America." That girl, she went on to sell 95 million records worldwide and became the most successful Latin artist of all time. Her secret wasn't talent alone, it was something much more powerful. Today, I'm revealing the exact mindset shift that turned Shakira from a small-town Colombian dreamer into a global phenomenon. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll never look at rejection the same way again. Let's start at the very beginning, because Shakira's story proves that your background doesn't determine your destiny. Born in Barranquilla, Colombia, in 1977, Shakira wasn't born into fame or fortune. Her father was a Lebanese immigrant who sold jewelry, and her mother was a local Colombian woman. But here's what's fascinating about her childhood that most people don't know. At age 4, yes, you heard that right, 4 years old, Shakira wrote her first song called Tus gafas oscuras, or Your Dark Glasses. While other kids were learning to tie their shoes, she was already composing melodies that would later influence her global sound. But here's the kicker. She learned to read and write by age 3 because she was so hungry for knowledge and self-expression. By age 8, she had already written her first hit song, Magia, or Magic, inspired by her father's sorrow over losing his car in an accident. Think about this for a moment. An 8-year-old child was emotionally intelligent enough to transform her father's pain into art. This wasn't just talent, this was emotional genius manifesting at an impossibly young age. But here's where the story gets really interesting. And this is the part that will completely shift your perspective on failure. When Shakira was 13, she recorded her first album called Magia with Sony Music Colombia. You'd think this was her big break, right? Wrong. The album was a commercial failure. It sold fewer than 1,000 copies. The record executives told her she was too young, too different, too Colombian. They said her voice was too distinctive, her style too unique. One executive actually told her that her music would never work internationally because it was too Latin for global audiences. Imagine being 13 years old and having industry professionals tell you that your dreams are impossible. But here's what separates legends from everyone else. Instead of giving up, Shakira used this rejection as fuel. She spent the next 2 years writing, composing, and refining her craft. She studied every genre of music she could get her hands on. Rock, pop, Middle Eastern music, traditional Colombian folk music. She didn't just want to make music. She wanted to create a sound that had never existed before. At 15, she released her second album, Peligro, or Danger. Again, commercial failure. 2 albums, 2 failures. Most people would have quit. Most parents would have said, focus on school. But Shakira's family saw something different. They saw a young woman who wasn't just making music, she was revolutionizing it. Then came 1995. Shakira was 18 years old when she released Pies Descalzos, or Bare Feet. This album changed everything. It wasn't just successful in Colombia, it exploded across Latin America. The album sold over 5 million copies and established her as a force to be reckoned with. But here's the crucial lesson: success didn't make her comfortable. While other artists would have played it safe and repeated the formula, Shakira did the opposite. She began experimenting with rock music, collaborating with producer Luis Fernando Ochoa to create ¿Dónde están los ladrones? In 1998. This album was her declaration of artistic independence, featuring hits like Ciega, Sordomuda, and Inevitable. Now, here's where most people think they know Shakira's story, but they're missing the most important part. In 2001, she made the decision that would either make or break her career, crossing over to English language music and conquering the American market. But it wasn't as simple as just translating her songs. The American music industry in 2001 was dominated by a very specific sound: the polished pop of Britney Spears, the R&B of Destiny's Child, the rock of Linkin Park. There was no space for a Colombian artist who played guitar, belly danced, and sang about social justice. Record executives told her she needed to lose her accent. They said her dancing was too ethnic for American television. They wanted her to dye her hair blonde, dress more conservatively, and basically become someone she wasn't. This was the moment of truth. This was when she had to choose between fitting in and standing out. Shakira made a choice that would define not just her career, but her entire legacy. She refused to change. Instead of conforming to American expectations, she decided to make America conform to her. She kept her accent, she kept her dancing, she kept her guitar, and she kept her authenticity. In 2001, she released Laundry Service, her first English language album. The lead single, Whenever, Wherever. And this is where the magic happened. The song wasn't trying to sound American. It was unapologetically Shakira. Her distinctive voice, her Andean flutes, her poetic lyrics about geography and destiny. The result? The song reached number 6 on the Billboard Hot 100, went number 1 in over 55 countries, and sold over 4 million copies worldwide. But more importantly, it proved something revolutionary. Global audiences didn't want American copies. They wanted authentic originals. Let me break down the specific mindset principles that turn Shakira from a local artist into a global brand, because these principles will work for anyone in any field. Every time someone told Shakira she wasn't good enough, she used it as a compass pointing toward her true path. When they said she was too Colombian, she became more Colombian. When they said she was too different, she became more different. She understood that rejection from the wrong people is actually confirmation that you're on the right track. In a world full of copies, the original always wins. Shakira never tried to be the next Madonna or the next Celine Dion. She focused on being the first Shakira. She understood that your uniqueness isn't something to hide, it's something to amplify. Shakira didn't just mix musical genres. She mixed cultures, languages, and traditions. Her music became a bridge between worlds. She sang in Spanish, English, Arabic, Portuguese, and even some French. She proved that in our connected world, being multilingual and multicultural isn't just an advantage, it's essential. Shakira's first 2 albums failed commercially, but she didn't spend years perfecting the same sound. She kept evolving, kept experimenting, kept pushing boundaries. She understood that motion creates progress, even when that motion includes failures. By 2005, Shakira had mastered something that most artists never figure out: how to be simultaneously global and personal. Her album, Fijación Oral Volumen 1, was entirely in Spanish, yet it achieved international success. Then she released Oral Fixation Volume 2 in English, featuring the massive hit Hips Don't Lie. Hips Don't Lie became the best-selling single of the 21st century at that point, reaching number 1 in over 55 countries. But here's what's brilliant about this song. It featured Wyclef Jean incorporating hip-hop elements while maintaining Shakira's Latin sound and featuring her signature belly dancing. She didn't choose between genres. She created her own genre. But Shakira's genius extends far beyond music. She understood something that most artists miss. True global stardom requires building an empire, not just a career. In 1997, at age 20, she founded the Barefoot Foundation, focusing on education for underprivileged children in Colombia. This wasn't just charity, it was strategy. She became a UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador, served on the board of the Oxford Institute for Poverty Reduction, and advised world leaders on education policy. She transformed from an entertainer into a global advocate, from a celebrity into a change maker. Then came 2010, and the opportunity that would cement her status as a global icon, the FIFA World Cup theme song. Waka Waka, This Time for Africa, wasn't just a song. It was a cultural phenomenon that united the entire planet. The song reached #1 in over 15 countries. The music video became one of the most watched in YouTube history with over 3 billion views, and it became the anthem of the most watched sporting event in human history. But here's the deeper strategy. By creating music for the World Cup, Shakira positioned herself as the soundtrack to global unity. But success didn't protect Shakira from personal challenges, and how she handled these challenges reveals the final piece of her success formula. Her very public relationship and eventual separation from soccer star Gerard Piqué could have destroyed her career. Instead, she channeled that pain into some of her most powerful music. Songs like BZRP Music Sessions, Just 53, with Bizarrap became global phenomena, breaking streaming records and proving that vulnerability can be a source of strength. She showed that even global icons face heartbreak, betrayal, and disappointment. But legends use those experiences to create art that resonates with millions. While many artists from her generation struggled to adapt to the digital age, Shakira embraced every new platform. She was one of the first major artists to understand the power of social media, building massive followings on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. She didn't just post content, she created cultural moments. Her TikTok dances, her Instagram stories, her Twitter interactions, everything was strategic, authentic, and engaging. She understood that in the digital age, accessibility breeds loyalty. Here's something most people don't know about Shakira. She speaks 6 languages fluently: Spanish, English, Portuguese, Italian, French, and Arabic. But this wasn't just for her music career. She understood that true global influence requires understanding global cultures at their deepest level. She studied at UCLA, taking courses in Western civilization, and worked toward understanding different philosophical and cultural perspectives. She didn't just want to entertain the world, she wanted to understand it. Let me break down Shakira's exact formula for turning dreams into global domination. Shakira discovered early that her voice was different, and instead of trying to sound like everyone else, she made that difference her trademark. Your unique perspective isn't a disadvantage, it's your competitive advantage. She didn't just write songs, she studied music theory, learned multiple instruments, and understood the technical aspects of production. Excellence requires obsessive attention to detail. Every major breakthrough in Shakira's career came from taking risks, singing in different languages, collaborating with unexpected artists, tackling social issues. Comfort zones are dream killers. Shakira's success came from connecting cultures, not competing with them. She collaborated with artists from different countries, genres, and backgrounds. In our connected world, collaboration beats competition. Whether she was singing in Spanish or English, performing in Colombia, or at the Super Bowl, Shakira remained authentically herself. Consistency builds trust, and trust builds empires. Today, Shakira has sold over 95 million records worldwide, won 3 Grammy Awards, 13 Latin Grammy Awards, and has been honored by governments around the world. But her real impact goes far beyond music. Through her Barefoot Foundation, she has built schools that have educated thousands of children. Her advocacy work has influenced education policy in multiple countries. She has used her platform to raise awareness about global poverty, education inequality, and women's rights. Shakira proved that dreams don't have geographical boundaries. A girl from Barranquilla, Colombia, didn't just conquer the music industry, she redefined what global success looks like. She showed that you don't have to choose between commercial success and artistic integrity, between global appeal and cultural authenticity. She proved that your background is not your destiny, that rejection is not permanent, and that authenticity is not just the best policy. It's the only policy that leads to lasting success. Here's the most important lesson from Shakira's journey. She never tried to be the best Latin artist, or the best female artist, or the best Colombian artist. She focused on being the best version of herself. And when you become the best version of yourself, categories become irrelevant. Your dreams are not too big. Your background is not too humble. Your voice is not too different. The world is not too competitive. If a young girl from Colombia can become a global icon by staying true to herself, imagine what you can achieve by staying true to yourself. The question isn't whether you have what it takes to achieve your dreams. The question is whether you have the courage to stay authentic while chasing them. Because that's what separates the dreamers from the legends. That's what separates the hopeful from the unstoppable. Shakira's journey from a rejected 13-year-old to global superstar proves that success isn't about fitting in. It's about standing out. It's not about changing who you are. It's about becoming more of who you are. Every rejection, every obstacle, every moment of doubt was actually preparation for the breakthrough that was coming. Your dreams are valid. Your voice matters. Your story has power. The world is waiting for what only you can create. Don't let anyone convince you to dim your light to make others comfortable. Shine brighter instead. If this story inspired you to chase your dreams with renewed passion, make sure to subscribe to StoVibe for more incredible stories of people who refuse to give up on themselves. Hit that subscribe button because your future self will thank you for the inspiration you're about to receive.